Hey, it's Code here, and today we're going to continue with some Git and GitHub, and today we're going to discuss the concepts of pull requests. So previously we've been working in the terminal, we can now push things to GitHub, we can pull from GitHub, we can do simple branches, we can do merging, but in a real case, at least in my experience of working with large companies, we would often not do manual merges, at least not to main, which is like where we would have the main setup for everything. We would use a pull request. And a pull request is simply just a more complex merge, which allows someone else to often review your code. And you might also have automated setups that would simply test the code or run tests or do some kind of like insurance that the code is up to standard. But let's see now, we're here on, let's have a look. I'm on branch main, so let's check out. Let's just keep using tests. Now we can see I'm on branch test. Let's just make a few changes. I'm just gonna duplicate a bunch of prints. Again, this is not like for this purpose of the code, but we can now see if we do a git status, I have a bunch of changes in main. I'm gonna commit, so I'm committing, or I'm adding and committing. I'm just gonna do it in one step. So commit dash everything, that's all, or that's A, and a commit message, more sound, more system out print line. I'm gonna commit and push, or I'm just committing. I then also, as mentioned, need to push. And again, we can see now that we are ahead of main by one commit. So we would git push. We're then now in a situation where we have updates on test, which are not on main. Let's then say all of these things were done. And as you can see here already, GitHub kind of prompted us to compare and create a pull request. Otherwise, we can compare and create a pull request. It then shows this window, or I could have just hit pull request up here. Again, it also prompts us, because this is a pretty standard use case for GitHub, but also just create a new pull request. And up here, we would choose to be merging from test into main. And it will then tell us if we're able to merge without conflicts. If you have conflicts, depending on your strategies, some companies would, I don't know, they do it differently, but what I'm used to is normally you would have first main merged into test locally, fix merge conflicts, and then do the pull request back into main, which is just a way to fix merge conflicts locally. And then on your pull request, I will see shortly, you'll be able to see only changes onto main. But what we simply do, we just create our pull request. Again, we can give the pull request a title. So let's call it more south. We could then create the pull request. The pull request then looks like this. And as you could see here, it then checks if there's some kind of like automatic testing or anything it needs to run. In my case, I don't really have anything, but in future videos, we might showcase and discuss how we can actually add automated workflows for GitHub. But for now, there's nothing set up. Again, in a more real scenario, or at least what I'm used to, often this would also be blocked, requiring reviews, meaning someone else would have to go in and look through your code and submit an approval to ensure that at least multiple eyes have looked at your code. But otherwise, we can see here we have our pull request. It's open. If we go to pull request, we're now going to have a list of all the pull requests. What's also very useful is that we can do files changed, and we then get like an overview of everything's changed in this pull request. And I could then review if needed these changes. As you can see here on the right hand side, there's a review changes. But otherwise, then very simply, if we now are at a state where we would have any tests needed to run, then they have completed. We have any reviews we need, we can then simply merge our pull request. We're then able to add like more text or define like the name of this merge. I'm just going to confirm the merge. And often, and also a nice feature is that here it actually allows us to just directly delete the branch. as we kind of have indicated, we now took all the change we needed from test into main. As you see here, the branch is now gone. And if we look at the commits, we had our more south push we did on test, and we have our pull request committed into main. But that is the general workflow. We would, as we did previously, add things locally, commit things, and push things. But then instead of merging them manually, you would use GitHub to handle the merge by creating a pull request, having tests done if needed, reviews done if needed, and then simply merging. So if you enjoyed this quick overview of our first pull request in GitHub, please leave a like and subscribe, and I wish you all a wonderful day.